coming up when you can be proactive about those things.
Do you also collect comparative data for the volumes changing over those 4 or 5 days because people taking diversions or
very good question. Very good question. Right now we are experimenting with a system called Speed Info, and we haven't gotten to that stage of collecting spot volumes at this stage. We are only collecting speeds and travel times.
If you're trying to smooth out the traffic flow on Okeechobee between Jog and Military Trail, and you adjust the lights at Jog and Military Trail, does it not have a ripple effect and increase the time for travel in those directions?
Yes, that's that. So it's a very delicate balancing act there. So that's also one of the things that traffic engineers will have to be conscious about. Downloading anything. We see something. This is not like complete road closure. This is partial loss of capacity. So they have to be aware that whatever they do will have repercussions or consequences on the other ones. So they have to do a balancing act there. Yes. Yes.
You talked about Steve reaching in the bag of tricks and tweaking stuff. How long before the software is far enough along and the system tied enough together where the machines can make the decisions and run it more efficiently than Steve reaching in the bag of tricks?
We have some places where we automated that. For example, State Road 7 and State Road 80. I'm going to answer to your question directly, but I just want to go back and tell you this. At State Road 7 and State Road 80, we installed video detection with the Q sensors. And we automated anytime there is an alarm, that alarm shall trigger an action. So that happens instantaneously. But there are some places like this where you have not just localized problem, but lengthwise or link-wise problems, and that involves several intersections. We still are not confident about tying them up to an automated system. And answering to your question, if in case we knew what was going on from the time that alarm popped up to somebody at the control center reacting to it and implementing a remedial plan, it would take about 5 to 10 minutes. And what we have is pre-made options already made, available in the database. So we call them like eastbound problem, westbound, and flush out problem about timing plan, or I-95 northbound detour plan or southbound detour plan. So we already have pre-made plans in the database. So as soon as we see an alarm, then as soon as everything is verified, then we just need to click download. So within a couple of minutes, it's going to go.
You referenced 520 miles of fiber optic interconnectivity. Is that dedicated solely to the traffic system?
Yes, it is.
That sounds like a lot of capacity that is underutilized. Or is it that data intensive?
Right now, we probably are using about 30% of what we have out there. But what we see is some of the fiber runs that we installed going back maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, there is a degradation in the number of counts. So we're going to have to come back, and we've been finding many of those. So now the buffer that we used to use has to be discarded, and then we move on to the different buffer. So anytime you are doing this expensive project of installing fiber, underground, aerial, whatever it is and all that, you don't want to be building based on today's needs. You want to have that buffer. And we are using just about 30%. If in case we were just talking only to the signals, that percentage would have been just 5%. But with the inclusion of the cameras, each one taking about 3 to 4 megs of data, and having 110 and then a whole 250 some odd video detection cameras out there, we have nothing but data flowing all over the place. So from that consideration, I think what we have done is very good.
Did I hear you say that you regulate cameras in all of the county except for the towns of Palm Beach and the city of Boca?
Not just the cameras, but also the signals. We don't have any control for cameras or traffic signals or traffic control for city of Boca jurisdiction and then town of Palm Beach.
And do you have contracts or mutual aid? How is it you come into the jurisdiction of managing that whole system?
All the, you mean the rest of the municipalities? Charlie was not one. He handed it over to me, so.
It's his fault.
It evolved. There's a lot of technology in what we do, a lot of expertise, a lot of very expensive equipment. And so we started out and we said, look, we've got this really competent organization. We go to somebody like Green Acres, who had 10 traffic signals and one guy who didn't know what he was doing. And we'd go to them and we'd say, look, you pay county taxes. This is a service that the county can provide you that you really don't want. There's a lot of liability here, a lot of expertise. Just sign this document that says we have control. Now, why would they want it? Passing over the responsibility and the liability to the county.
Well, it makes sense to me that it's such a massive undertaking. I just wondered how it all.
It evolved over 30 years.
Charlie, has the state stepped in and kind of preempted it throughout the state, saying county should have this function as opposed to?
No. I mean, we work very close with the state, but it's an unusual circumstance here. I think Florida is the only place that I've ever seen that has it, where the state does not maintain any traffic signals. They look to the locals to do it. Now, they help with funding, they help with construction. When they build a major road, they put in traffic signals, and then they say to us, Giri, here's the traffic signal, you maintain it, you keep it working, you time it, you put in your signal, your system, and we, the state, will work with you and kind of look over your shoulders and ensure that you're not screwing it up, because we're putting a lot of money in it. But as far as the maintenance and operation, it's your responsibility. Did I say it right?
If you have an intersection where you have frequent accidents, do you then look at that intersection for timing improvements?
Definitely, yes. We have a huge database of this crash records that we get the records from all the law enforcement officers, and as and when a ticket is written up, within a few days we get a copy. And all the accidents are coded into the system. And we do track, high crash locations in the county. And the first thing that we do is, once there is a pattern established, say for example, for the sake of discussion, the left turns ending up with crashes from the throughs, opposing throughs or something like that, and if there's a pattern established, then we do know something needs to be done. So that's when we evaluate if in case we had the right kind of clearance times, or if we need to do something else. Or sometimes, going from what's called protected permissive operation to a protected operation, meaning, left turns sometimes are permitted on the green bar. And if in case there are a lot of accidents happening because of misjudgment in that gap time and all that, then that prompts us to go to a different treatment called protected only, where left turns are allowed only during the green hour. So yes, accidents is a very crucial part of our tracking the crashes, and crash history is important.
Do you do that also for unsignalized intersections?
Yes. When an unsignalized intersection needs to be considered for any improvements or safety enhancements, either preventing them and restricting them only to right out or right in only, or installing a signal. Crash history is one of the requirements, or one of the warrants that goes into the process of it.
Okay, about the communications, we are experiencing this problem, I would say, it's an issue. In several of our projects that we are working for DOT in Broward County, and that is this fiber optic communication cable. In the old days when most of those were copper interconnects,
Correct.
if you were replacing an existing controller, or say you were upgrading a span wire signal to mass on, you put a new controller there, all you needed to do is to connect to the next controller or the junction box. At least on 2 of our projects in Broward County, we are told by Broward County Communications guys that that is no more possible. So if you were replacing one controller, what you need to do is to replace the entire length of the fiber optic cable, which in some situation may be outside your project limits. So you're doing a 1 mile long project and you will end up replacing a cable 3 miles. I find it baffling that the industry has not found a solution to this problem. Are you facing this also?
I would say that is localized only in Broward.
And they say that the splicing
They're looking for
is
free
not
riders.
Looking for
desirable.
some new cable.
The splicing is not desirable. You don't want to splice.
Well, splicing, when it comes to fiber optics, it's not like, you see a break and then you just come and then do some welding or, butt splicing or something. It's not like that. More number of splices you have on the length of the cable, more the degradation of the signal strength is going to be. So you want to limit the number of splices per given mile. So from that standpoint, there is some justification. If already they have a couple of splices in that little small run, they don't want to have one more splice. So what they want you to do is pull back the fiber and then redo the whole link. They are now at a stage, they're going through this transition from copper to fiber. Some sections already have fiber, but it is not connected to other sections. So challenges are a little different. But I would leave that as a specific project.
That's good to know.
Yes. And when it comes to, somebody was asking me about the maintenance and all the traffic signals, installation, maintenance, and cameras, installation and maintenance, and fiber optic, all these 520 miles of fiber is all maintained in-house by our own staff. We have huge, the army of folks out there. Used to be a lot more people now, but because of budget cuts, we chopped them down. But competent people out there running around fixing these things, and we are one of the few agencies in this area from Broward County, even all the way to Dade County. Dade County doesn't have so much of fiber like we do, or even up to this whole Treasure Coast area. We have so much of fiber and so much in-house expertise, and 3 splicing trailers of our own for us to go around and do repairs and installations and all those good things also. And by minimizing or by maximizing the in-house strength, we've been able to actually extend these dollars, the value of the dollars, a lot longer and a lot further. And DOT is even aware of it too.
Are any other department here in Palm Beach County, in your municipality, Palm Beach County, using your data or using what you're collecting? Are they utilizing it for any project or anything like that so far?
Very good question. We provide data to MPO, the traffic volumes and all that. And we've been talking to them about actually providing them with a hot link where real-time data is provided to them. If in case that's going to help them in the modeling, demand modeling and all that. So we are talking to them about providing them with real-time continuous data from the field. But yes, we do share traffic volume data, and one of the ways the projects get prioritized is by looking at what are the congested intersections within the county. So they do the VOC ratios and they come up with a list of all the intersections that have been tagged as congested. So we help them with that data. And the camera feeds are shared with all the local TV news stations. The TV news reports that you see about the traffic and all, they use our cameras. And then we give camera feeds to the EOC. And there is another place called Fusion Center where we got all these top talent from all the law enforcement agencies. They get our feeds. And in future, we're going to be sharing this feeds with the FAU, Civil Engineering Transportation Department, for them to do studies for the school reports and projects and all sorts of
So
things.
the data is available to the public currently?
Oh yeah, data is available. And data has been available from day one, but the way the data used to be available is becoming even easier, because we are now out
Before
there.
they have to
giving
come
it.
to you to get the
Correct.
data, now you're making it more accessible.
That
to
is
everyone.
correct. That's correct.
That's a similar question. Do other departments coordinate with you? Like when planning comes in with new projects or bill or plan, how much do they coordinate with you?
When new projects or applications for new developments and all, when they come up, do they talk to the traffic control center folks? No, but they do talk to the traffic engineering in general. So when it comes to traffic engineering, of course, we get involved too at that stage. So if in case we have any of our interests that need to be part of that, proposed development, and we add that as a comment. And if in case any of our facilities need to be relocated, that's again part of it. Yes.
Is the information available open access or by invitation only, or other means?
Traffic volumes and that sort of thing is available on internet. And you can go to Palm Beach County website to the engineering department, and then if you walk your way into traffic division, you would have the peak season counts and intersection peak hour counts and all those things. But if in case you wanted, we're still in the process of putting these video camera feeds, also making public. May not be at the real time, the 30 frames per second that you see, like streaming video, we call it. It may not be streaming video, but it probably is at a reduced frame rate they're going to be available. We're working on that project.
And not that it's happened to me, but for those people who have received a ticket in the mail and a little video excerpt,
Right.
are they tapping into your video?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question. We have nothing to do with those cameras. All the cameras that you mentioned, they're all surveillance cameras for traffic purposes only. All the red light enforcement cameras that people got, ticketed, cited, whatever, that's all done independently through another company, which does not share any feeds, or we don't give any feeds to them, vice versa.
So those are independent cameras? They don't use your camera, but they use
They don't use our cameras at all.
traffic signals?
They have their own system of cameras, but they look at the signal.
They get a percentage of the pay,
It's a
basically.
private company.
For maintaining it and for operating
So,
it. and
so
they
those
can-
cameras are the ones I see attached to the light post,
Correct.
not attached to the
That's
light
correct.
signal.
There was an expose recently in the Tampa area where there are allegations that whoever controlled the timing
Yes.
on the systems was manipulating the timing so to increase the number of cars that were being caught in order to allegedly increase the revenues to the municipality.
That's a shame if it is municipalities doing that.
Not in Palm Beach County, I monitor corruption in the state of Florida on a regular basis.
Like I said, you're such a.
So you're very busy.
Giri, would you like to continue with yours, or is there time for one more question?
Oh, there is time for questions.
I have a question. One is, do you have protocols for storms? And tell us about the room behind us.
Oh, that's the, so that's where the operators do monitor and make the changes from and everything. And these two here, the gentleman that's situated here, they are looking at the TSNMO corridors that we mentioned about, Southern Boulevard, Belvedere, and Okeechobee. And they are looking at the field conditions through those links, colored links. And then they are also, we also have 30 some odd cameras in that zone, the test zone. So they constantly go through these cameras to see if everything is flowing the way it's supposed to be or not. And Fridays are usually, you know, not one of our busy days with the staffing and all that. Otherwise, you would have 4 operators from DOT monitoring the freeway operation, I-95 operation within Palm Beach County. So the way, anytime there is any hiccup on I-95, they would know it through their system. So this is just not Palm Beach County Control Center. This is a combined operational center between DOT and then Palm Beach County. So DOT guys' responsibility is to see the operation on freeway, and if they see something, immediately they contact the road rangers. And through road rangers, information gets broadcast out to cops or the officers, or depending on the situation. And if in case there is an accident and there is going to be a spillover onto the arterials, meaning our streets, then they do talk to us here on this side and say, hey, you know, Southern Boulevard, southbound, we're going to have 1 or 2 lanes blocked off, so traffic has to be diverted onto Southern Boulevard. So immediately our folks jump into picture to make changes to the signals
To let more people
to let
off.
more people off of interstate, and then take them out, again, take them back out onto I-95 at a different location.
That's interesting.
So when the Florida Turnpike shuts down a section of their artery, do they coordinate with your division
Yes.
so that you can accommodate the signals?
Yes, they do. They do communicate with us. These things are evolving over time. Initially, you know, when we wanted to have these things, they all appeared to be like, this is nice to have, you know, in case you talk to us, we can do this kind of thing, wish list kind of thing. But with the recent successes that we had, and then just proving it to them that yes, you call us, we can accommodate and we can take care of these things. That also built this mutual confidence, and then we've been working together.
Do you have access to their cameras?
We have access to their cameras. We do not have rights over their cameras, but we do get to see what's going on out there. They created a web link, and so it's open for anybody. So you can look up the cameras. And one of the things that we have done that we have not ever done was when Sunfest was having a big party downtown. On the last day, concluding ceremonies and parties and fireworks and all that stuff, and you have this mad rush of traffic, all exiting all at once. And typically it's the West Palm Beach City Police that used to jump in and take care of the whole thing and all that. So for a change, you know, we've been talking on a couple of other related projects and all that stuff, and then they have seen the ability and capabilities that we have. So we worked together. What we did was we came up with some pre-made timing plans, estimating, you know, how much of traffic is probably going to be using, let's say, Okeechobee Boulevard versus Banyan, and then how it is all going to come up. So we worked together, we came up with locations where we want to restrict further movement of traffic and we want to divert. So we came up with a plan, and then we implemented timing, and we had 3-4 people sitting here from 9 o'clock till 11. And believe it or not, they were all ecstatic. They couldn't believe how easy their life had gotten just by working together. And they told us that what it used to take about 3 to 3.5 hours, all dissipated in half of that time. And with a lot fewer accidents. And we have gotten letter from Chief of West Palm Beach Police appreciating our involvement in it. And then we replicated the same thing again for July 4th. So now I think it's going to become a trend that we're going to be out there helping each other and managing traffic for the betterment of the area.
So has the Palm Beach County Fairgrounds and the Crowd Center contacted you yet?
Crowd Center, yes. Palm Beach County Fairgrounds, we've been actively doing the graduations related thing. Anytime you have the high school graduations going on there, so we've been monitoring and trying to help out the traffic conditions there. But general South Florida Fair, except for a couple of concerts, most of the other times it's, on and off and some gradual ups and downs and no aberrations.
Consistent with.
Right, right. So we don't really see a whole lot of big problem like the way we would anticipate.
Is there any way to analyze any of the pedestrian signals and what's your data collection like for pedestrian movement in some of these big intersections?
The pedestrian timing is not something that we change on a frequent basis like the way traffic signal timing changes. If we know from the area in a CBD or at a school location or some place where you anticipate a lot of pedestrian usage, to go with in the design itself we accommodate or we take that into consideration and provide more than usual, longer than usual the walk time and the pedestrian clearance times. There are times that we wanted to evaluate number of pedestrians that probably are using that location. There is a way we can go back into our database and then look at pedestrian actuations. If in case they push the button, that is recorded in the control. So going back in an indirect way, we can actually take a look at the number of actuations.
Is it really going to a signal going somewhere, or is it just glued onto the pole? Because I push that thing.
First time you push, there is a call in. Second time you push, the call is taken out.
So it's one, like a...
So push it only once.
Sometimes it seems like signals are very long, and sometimes it seems like, especially if you're getting by the railroad tracks, sometimes they switch back and forth very quickly. How about, what's like the longest signal? Do you ever sit in it seems like 3 minutes, or can it be longer than that?
I would defer to Steve about that.